Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't need to, and today we are talking about Palantir Technologies PLTR stock. So we're going to be going over their newest contract that they have recently landed with the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense, which is a fantastic catalyst. However, I don't think that this catalyst is going to be powerful enough to stop the PLTR stock from downtrending due to macroeconomic factors weighing Palantir as well as the entire stock market down right now. Then we're going to proceed to talk about their upcoming earnings report, which is going to come out on May 9th. So please mark your calendars for that. I will have a video out on May 9th that will go over the earnings report. So right now in this video, we're going to go over their projections, and if they beat their projections, what the PLTR stock could do, or unfortunately, if they fall below their projections by analysts and other professionals, we are going to determine how the PLTR stock could react to this in the current stock market environment that we are in right now. Lastly, I also want to point out 3 other stocks that I have talked about in the past that I think some people should start nibbling at, buying, or even holding. So I will go over my opinions on Marqeta, Matterport, as well as Affirm holdings. So for more Palantir PLTR stock news videos, remember to go and smash that like button right now, comment your thoughts down below about what you think of Palantir Technologies, and without further ado, let's jump right into today's stories. So if you didn't know, Palantir Technologies is a big data and analytics company that serves both commercial clients as well as government agencies. And recently, Palantir Technologies has landed around a $12.5 million contract with the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense, which is absolutely phenomenal. I really like to see how Palantir is branching out to help them with data analytics. If you didn't know, Palantir Technologies is going to be supporting them by using their Foundry platform in most instances, which is going to let their users cut costs by either automating work and or reducing data processing time. Another reason why the United States government, as well as other governments and allies across the world, really like using Palantir's technologies and platforms is because Palantir Technologies is extremely secure. They have literally never had a data breach in any of their platforms, which is why it's very well respected among the US. Whether that be the DoD or even military branches, it really doesn't matter that much. So overall, this is a very positive catalyst. However, today the PLTR stock price has fallen almost 7%. It's fallen right now at around a 6.32% decrease, and it's been very volatile lately. Right now, the PLTR stock price is trading for around $9 per share. However, the low-end 12-month price prediction by analysts is $10, and as always, I really like how the current stock price is trading below the low-end analyst price target because this gives us a small margin of safety. However, the average analyst price target for the next 12 months is $15.60, while the most bullish analyst price target for the next 12 months is $25.30. Currently, 2 industry analysts say to buy the company, 7 analysts say to hold the company, and 2 of these analysts actually say to sell the company. And later on in this video, we're going to be going over what 5-star analysts are actually saying and what certain institutions are saying about the PLTR stock and whether or not they think that investors should buy the company right now or not. But again, always make sure that you take analysts' price targets and predictions with a grain of salt, as well as my own, and always make sure to do your own research. Palantir Technologies, in my view, has done a phenomenal job about expanding and selling their software to various US government agencies and their allies, which is clearly seen in this United Kingdom contract. Because over in the United States, Palantir has their foot in the door with the government, which gives them a huge competitive advantage, whether that be with various Pentagon agencies or even military contracts with Space Systems Command. Both of these are very positive developments, and I also like how they're building their relationship with the National Health Service, which is absolutely phenomenal. Palantir has helped out with previous Ministry of Defense contracts, which means that Palantir was an easy pick for this particular contract, because really anything that includes data integration or data analytics, Palantir Technologies is the go-to for the United States government as well as the United Kingdom. And this is clearly seen with their contract with the Royal Navy. So I just wanted to put that on your radar to make you all aware that Palantir, yes, is still landing more and more contracts, which should be reflected very positively in their revenues in the upcoming quarters. However, it won't be reflected in this upcoming quarter. But speaking of this upcoming quarter, let's talk about that. So we're going to go over their current projections for their quarter one, and this is going to tell us their financial results for the first quarter of 2022, and that again will be happening on May 9th before the market opens. This could cause the PLTR stock to be extremely volatile, so please keep an eye out for Palantir Technologies on that particular day. Right now, the current consensus for their earnings per share, or EPS, is around 4 cents per share, which is very good because this is positive. However, year over year, this would mean that the EPS has been flat because this is their exact EPS that they achieved a year prior, which would be the first quarter of 2021. However, on the other hand, their revenues are supposed to come in at around $443.51 million, which is phenomenal, which would represent around a 30% increase year over year, which is on track for Palantir's management's projections for a 30% CAGR, or compounding annual growth rate, from now until 2025, which is absolutely phenomenal. So this should make investors very bullish on the company because management is meeting their expectations and they are keeping their promises. However, during this current stock market environment, we have bad news because even if Palantir Technologies beats on their revenue estimates, which I personally think they will, we could either see a small spike, but despite a small spike in the PLTR stock, it will be weighed down by overall macroeconomic factors. So I wouldn't bet on the PLTR stock surging off of this earnings report just because the current stock market environment right now is extremely volatile and negative. Likewise, if they have a bad earnings report where they do not beat on revenues or EPS, that is just going to bring the PLTR stock even lower. So despite what happens in their upcoming earnings report, we should not anticipate very positive news in the PLTR stock price. And if we do see a surge in the PLTR stock price, that will be short-lived due to the macroeconomic environment right now. But I do think it's going to be helpful to review what Palantir has achieved lately. So particularly in quarter four, Palantir signed around 34 new net customers, and they closed on around 64 deals worth $1 million or more, and they also have 19 deals worth $10 million or more, which is absolutely amazing. This is why Palantir expects to generate around $443 million for this particular quarter. And although some analysts actually think that Palantir is going to bring in closer to $439.6 million, I personally think they are going to generate over $443 million. So what do analysts and well-respected institutions think of these developments? Well, let's start off with Piper Sandler. So they actually raised their PLTR stock price target for the company because they noted that Palantir Technologies is set to see phenomenal growth in both their US government business as well as their commercial enterprises, and they had this to say, and I quote, they say that Palantir has gained traction with agencies beyond defense, such as the Department of Veterans Affairs and Department of Energy, which could provide it with ongoing upside. And of course, I think they are on point with this analysis because I've literally predicted this and been saying this for a long time now. Also, I want to point out that Palantir won a $5.3 million contract with the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. More good news for Palantir Technologies. They are also collaborating with Jacobs, and they did this to introduce and commercialize a joint data analytics solution for water infrastructure, and I have a whole video dedicated literally just to that particular contract. Jacobs is a fantastic company. I personally own it in my personal portfolio, and I really like how Palantir has been collaborating with them, which is again more positive news. I also want to point out in other videos we went over how Palantir signed on an IT solutions provider, which is Carahsoft Technologies, as its US federal distributor, which is again more positive news. So despite this positive news, we haven't seen a real increase in the PLTR stock because again, the macroeconomic factors of rising inflation and increasing interest rates are pushing the stock market lower and lower. However, I personally think it's the best time to buy when other people are liquidating stocks and when the market is fearful. So I am cashing in on a multitude of other growth companies companies besides the PLTR stock because I'm basically almost maxed out on the PLTR stock for my particular portfolio, because anything beyond that could be bad risk management. I also want to point out that the war between Russia and Ukraine is actually going to increase the acceleration and adoption of Palantir's hyper-secure platforms, and an RBC analyst literally pointed that out. And that is literally the reason why RBC upgraded their PLTR stock price targets, because of how secure Palantir's technology truly is. Lastly, I'm going to point out Morgan Stanley upgraded the company as well. However, they are still awaiting more visibility. They had this to say, and they say that awaiting more visibility of positive catalysts around a durable government business and yields on recent investments in commercial. And again, I think their commercial segment will outpace their government business, because their commercial segment, in my view, will be the thing that takes the company profitable either in 2024 or 2025. With Palantir's exponential growth and a 30% CAGR for their revenues, this company is absolutely primed for profitability and future growth. I also want to point out that over the last year, Palantir has beaten their EPS estimates 75% of the time, and they have beaten their revenue guidance 100% of the time. And I think this earnings report is no different, that they are going to increase and beat their revenues that we currently forecasted, which came in at around $443 million. But we are going to have to wait until May 9th to determine if this is true or not. Lastly, because the stock market is pulling back right now, I think it's only fair for me to point out some other stocks that I think that investors should at least be aware of. And again, these are not buy recommendations, these are just some things that I personally am doing. I'm going to start off with Marqeta, ticker symbol MQ. They had an EPS increase of 2.7%, which is absolutely phenomenal, and they have lost 43.8% of their value from the beginning of 2022. And the reason this is astonishing is because their overall industry only fell by around 5.3%, which is why I am using this as a nibbling opportunity. I have already done a previous video on Marqeta, so I've already been invested into this company, but with the current stock price of around $7, the low-end analyst price target of $12, the average price consensus of $15, and the high-end price target of $20, I think this is a fantastic time to buy on market weakness, especially because it has fallen almost 45% just in the year of 2022. I also want to move on to our next growth stock, which is going to be Matterport, ticker symbol MTTR, which also had an earnings increase of around 3.7%. However, unlike Marqeta, the Matterport shares have lost around 72.6% of its value in the year of 2022, and this is mainly due because their industry was absolutely decimated. Their industry has fallen by around 35.3%, but I think this is again another good time to buy on weakness, and this is why I actually have a buy rating on this particular company, because the stock price is just so low right now, trading at around $4. The low end bearish price target for the company is $6, the average price consensus is $11, and the high end price target is $23 per share, so there is plenty of upside in this particular company. Lastly, we're going to end with a hold. This is not a buy or a nibble rating. I'm saying to hold this company because I do think it has a fantastic future stock price appreciation. However, I'm going to wait for the company to drop even lower. Affirm Holdings, ticker symbol AFRM, had an EPS increase of around 29.63%, and the AFRM shares have lost around 68.4% of their total value in the year of 2022. And similar to Matterport, the main reason for this is that their industry has been absolutely decimated because their industry has pulled back by around 31.2%. However, I currently think that the company could actually fall a little more, but I do at least want to put this on your radar because the current company is trading at around $24 per share. The average analyst price target is $60, the low-end analyst price target is $28, and the high-end price prediction is $85 per share. And with that being said, always make sure to do your own research, whether that be on Palantir, SoFi, Marqeta, Matterport, or Affirm Holdings. But with that being said, I want you to go and smash that like button right now for more videos just like this one. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next YT video.